I have no words for what the Chicago Bulls just did. That was just that was probably the ugliest loss I've seen this season, and not just for the Bulls, the NBA in general. That was embarrassing. That was like I don't even know what else to say about it. It was just embarrassing to be up 23 in the game against the Spurs, who are not fully healthy. They don't have their best guy in DeMar DeRozan. This should have been not an easy win, but the Bulls were talented enough to pull this off. They were loaded enough to make this happen. And, in the first half, it looked like it was going to happen. The Bulls came out very strong. Zach LaVine did exactly what you expect him to do. Thaddeus Young has been terrific so far this season, coming off the bench and starting, so he did what you expect him to do. Lauri Markkanen was great. I mean, seeing him, he's been playing very well since the All-Star break, so he, started off the game very strong, so I was very happy to see that. Bulls were making shots. They were playing defense. The Spurs could not make a shot, so the Bulls were able to get ahead very quickly. A 23-point lead, when you're up by that much, you should not lose this game, but, the fourth quarter came around, and that's exactly what happened. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch the third quarter because I was like, after halftime, I was like, all right, Bulls have this good lead. I don't even need to watch this game. I was more interested in the Bucks and Sixers, so I make sure I watched that game. It was a very good game, by the way. But I didn't really care for the Bulls game that much after the half because I was like, all right, Bulls are up by enough. They'll keep the lead and we'll be good. But then, the third quarter, I didn't watch it, but I kind of tracked the score to see what was going on. And I noticed the lead dwindling, and I'm like, oh no. No, not this again. Please, this can't be happening again. This happened earlier in the season against the Thunder. Please, this happens again and again and again this season. Please, not again. But sure enough, the fourth quarter started. I turned on the channel. We were, up 8. And I was like, okay, this is not good. And then I watched the game. No energy from the Bulls. Could not make a shot. Could not rebound. Terrible, stupid mistakes. Bouncing the ball off each other's foot. Throwing the ball out of bounds in terrible passes. And like I said, terrible defense. Foul trouble. It was just ugly. The Spurs made shots. They went on runs. They got and ones. They hit threes. Sure enough, the Spurs took the lead. And once they took the lead, I knew it was over. I was like, all right, that's it. Because the Bulls looked depleted. They looked like they gave up. As soon as the Spurs were within 3, I knew the game was over. Because it was just that bad. They had no energy, and it was just, God, it was bad. I don't know, man. This keeps happening again and again with this team. There's so many things I like about this team, but there's so many things I fucking hate about this team too. It's so bizarre, this team, right? This Bulls team is just, God, I don't know how I feel about it. And you can tell, if you've watched my channel, early in the season, I made a video saying the Bulls have a lot of issues, right? Because at that time, the Bulls were on a losing streak, and there were a lot of glaring issues that were standing out. And I was like, all right, it was the same issues. Kobe White's a great player, but he's not a point guard that we need right now. He needs to move on. Wendell Carter's not great. We need inside presence, and that's just non-existent with this Bulls team. And guess what? That's been consistent this entire season. Even when we're winning, the flaws are so obvious. Even in the wins. We won big time against the Thunder yesterday, but it was very obvious. Kobe White is just not a playmaker. He's a scorer, and that's kind of it. If you're looking for a guy to do that, then Kobe White's your guy. But, for the Bulls right now, they don't need another scorer. Zach LaVine is one of the best scorers in this game right now. So, you have him already. You don't need Kobe White to do that. We need a playmaker. We need a facilitator. And Kobe White's just not that. So, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think we need to move on from Kobe White. I was thinking that maybe him going to the bench and having Sato start would make a difference. It kind of did because Sato is significantly better on playmaking and all that stuff. So I like him starting, but I think moving forward, maybe at the trade deadline, maybe in the offseason, I don't know. But if you're trying to make a playoff push, something needs to change. Because I don't think Kobe White's going to be the answer for this team for the point guard position. I really hope that something happens. Everyone talks about Lonzo Ball. I would love to have Lonzo Ball on this team. I think he'd be great for us. His play style, the things he does at the point guard position would be very helpful for this team. So I don't know what the possibility is. I don't even think the Pelicans are going to want to trade him, especially because he's been playing so well as of late. His trade value's gone up right now, so I don't even think the Pelicans are going to want to get rid of him right now. But I would love to see the Bulls somehow make a move to get him. But yeah, so that's the point guard. Other thing, I talked about it before and I'll say it again. The Bulls have no inside presence. We have no big man. Like, Lowry's our tallest guy, but even then, he's not a big man. Like, he's a 7'1" guy who can stretch the floor, but I don't see him as our interior defender or on the offense or defense. I don't see him as our big guy, you know what I mean? He's not our center. Wendell Carter is a 6'9" center, and he's just not enough. And that hurts me to say because I love Wendell. I really, really wanted it to work with him. I thought, again, him moving to the bench would help. You could tell that him moving to the bench bothered him mentally. I hope that it doesn't get to him that much because he's still a good player, and I want him to do well, but if it's just not going to work, then it's not going to work. I don't know what else there is to say. And, Thaddeus Young is our best guy on the interior, but again, he gets outsized by all these big men right now. The excuses for Wendell aren't even there anymore because it's like, yeah, Embiid you can make an excuse for. Yeah, how can anyone stop Embiid? No one can. Wendell Carter can. No one can. But then when you have Jakob Poeltl putting up 20 points and 16 rebounds, when you have that center from the Thunder, I forgot what his name is, but he put up a really good game yesterday. Like, we can't keep getting cooked by these centers again. And it's not just guys like Joel Embiid, right? Like, it's happening again and again every game, no matter who we play. So we need to do something different at that position too. I love Thad Young. I want to keep him, to be honest, but I think for Wendell, he's just not our answer there. I don't know who is at this point, but I just know that it's not Wendell, and I just know that something needs to change. And for this team, losing games like this is so crushing because in the Eastern Conference, games like this matter. Every win matters. Especially, look at the standings right now. Like, the gap between, the 6th seed and the 10th seed is probably, 2 games. It fluctuates after every night of games. I can't even keep up with who's where. The only teams right now that are solid right now are the Nets, the Sixers, and the Bucks. Anything, and maybe the Heat. The Heat just moved up to 4th. But even then, everything else in the Eastern Conference is fair game. The Heat, went from the bottom of the East to 4th. The Bulls were 6th. Then they went to 12th. Now they're 9th. The Hornets are 6th. The Knicks were 6th, and now they're 8th. Everything's just moving around. So the Bulls have to win these games if they want to make a playoff push like they say they do. So I just don't know how you lose games like this expect to make the playoffs. I don't. I just don't see how this team can make the playoffs if this is what's going to happen with this team. Now, in terms of what happens, I get the approach of this new front office. They wanted to keep this team right now. They didn't make any major moves. They drafted Patrick Williams and signed Garrett Temple, and that's it. But I just hope that, they said that this was going to be a trial year, right? They wanted to give everyone on this team who is currently on the roster a shot and then move on from there. The bright side for the Bulls is Garpax isn't running the show anymore, right? This is Garpax's team, right? Let's be honest. Everyone on this team came under Garpax with the exception of Patrick Williams and Garrett Temple. So this new front office just wanted to see what this team could do. And to me, it's very clear. This young core is just not good together. I like Lowry. I like LaVine. I like Patrick Williams. To me, LaVine and Williams are the only guys to me that are off the table. But everyone else, depending on what you can get back, the Bulls are going to have a good amount of cap space next year. They're going to have, I think they're going to be top 5 in cap space. So a new front office with a lot of cap space going into this offseason, a lot of assets, I think the Bulls can do some good moves in this offseason, and that's the positive outlook on this. But in terms of this season and the way the games are going forward, I am pessimistic about our chances about the playoffs. I think we'll still make the play-in tournament. I still do, because the East is the way it is. I still think we'll probably end up like 9th or 10th, and then we'll lose in the play-in tournament. But yeah, it's very clear that there's some very obvious flaws. And for the Bulls to lose games like this, it's unacceptable. It really pisses me off, man. All right. And also, this is just a bad time for Chicago sports fans right now. The Bears signed Andy fucking Dalton when we could have had Russell Wilson. I had to get that off my chest because that's been bothering me for the past 24 hours. And then the Bulls lose this game by 20. They were up 23 and lost. So Chicago sports fans are down horrendous right now. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's a bad time right now. We're down bad. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. I think I got enough off my chest. Thank you guys for watching, I guess. If you enjoyed, leave a like, I guess. And also comment, if you're a Bulls fan, do you think it's time for the Bulls to make some moves at the deadline? Do you think they should keep this team until the offseason? What do you think should be the direction moving forward with some of the guys on our team? I'm curious to hear what you guys think, so let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss an upload. And yeah, thank you guys for the continued support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.